इतना सा फर्क है एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में ये अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी। ये एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानकुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और 7वें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा है। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया।
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this webinar of Business Opportunity Over Chai. Business Opportunity Over Chai presented by the management of Franchise India with an aim to introduce you with a new business opportunity every day at 12 o'clock. Today also we are going to introduce you with a new business opportunity into fashion retail. But before I'll introduce you with the brand, let me just run you through with the Q&A process. If you have any questions during the webinar, please type your questions into the Q&A box. We will take up all your questions post our presentation. We see some of you raising your hand. I would request you not to raise your hand, as at this platform we won't be able to allow come on the panel. I would request you to, instead of raising your hand, write your question into the Q&A box so that we can understand your query and we can answer you accordingly. I would like to welcome all my panelists. We do have Mr. Samarth, Mr. Saurabh, and Mr. Ravi Kumar on this panel today. We will be having Mr. Gaurav very soon on the panel. Our today's brand is Talking Threads. They're inspired by the tradition and moved by the modern world. Talking Threads completes dream of brides and groom with style, personalization, masterful craftsmanship, and attention to detail. They provide designer outfits for all your occasions and needs. We do have Mr. Samarth Hans, who's going to provide you a little brief over brand and the commercials. And then Mr. Gaurav will join to give you a proper brief over brand. I would like to request you, Samarth, to take the lead and brief us about the brand detail over a little over the brand and also the commercials part. Over to you, Samarth.
Sure. Thank you so much, Neha. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So this is a very interesting brand where we say it's not only a traditional bridal or groom wear that we see. It's more about having the modern aspect, because what we see nowadays is people are more conscious about what they're wearing, the different trends which are there in the market. It's very important to understand that, yes, there is a modernity that is in demand in the market and is what is expected out of the different clothes which people are going and buying over there when it comes to, especially for the special occasions like your bride and groom wear, which is required. So where Talking Trends comes into the picture is has a traditional theme which is there, and what we emphasize and also integrate is the modern craftsmanship which is brought over here. So we also have Gaurav here who would brief us more on the project while we understand what the model is for you. So it's more about a retail store and an opportunity that we'll be seeing right now. What would be the collection like? What the overall background is something that Gaurav would brief us about. But for your understanding, would be a franchise-owned, franchise-operated model that we're looking into, where we'll open a minimum, depending on the market as well, because every market would have their own potential and is something that we can always discuss in. So for key markets or where the property and the areas are also there, the restrictions are also there. So what we have is a model which starts from 600 square feet in certain areas, going up to about 1,000 square feet of a model that we can see for our retail outlet. For when I said again, it's a franchise-owned, franchise-operated opportunity that we'll be presenting to you today, where the product, the design, the inventory is something that the brand provides and as a support to all our partners. And the day-to-day operations and the selling and the other hygiene is something that the partner supports the brand with, where together we look forward to a very long relationship and a fruitful relationship as well. So before we get into the financial aspect, I'll hand it over to Gaurav to brief us and take us through the brand journey and the opportunity which is there. Over to you, Gaurav, please.
Hi, Samad. So I know I'm extremely late, so just
Sure.
do me the favor of just giving me a brief of who's here today and what's the so I can make a more pointed brief.
Yes, so we have panelists over here, potential investors who are very keen about the opportunity. So today, what we are going through is we'll be briefing them about the opportunity as investors. They want to know more about the brand today and the opportunity that we are bringing and different products that we'll be offering, the designs that we have, and the whole background and the history where you and Pearl come into the picture as well. So all these information is something that all the investors who are listening over here and also through the recording would like to know more about from the brand perspective. And also then we'll open it to a Q&A round as well, where people can also ask their queries. And maybe then later on we can have further fruitful discussion with potential investors here. So if you can start, maybe share the presentation as well and walk through the product, the range, your history, and then the offering that we have today for the investors.
Let me. This is not a tailor-made presentation for this, but this event. Uh, Given the fact that I'm asking what the composition of this event is right now, so you please forgive me, and I will try and cover any elements that are missing through conversation.
Sure.
Right now, everything that you see is a existing product. There are no marketing images. All our products are real families, real weddings, so on and so forth. Right. What are we trying to create? So fundamentally, Pearl and I are trying to build. Uh, we're trying to build the India's first mass prestige brand in this space. To us, the way we see it is the designers are unaffordable to the middle class, and the Manyavars and the Tasvas of the world, which are what you call which are pushing product at this point in time, are not exactly prestige. They are, um, they're the equivalent of, if I were to put it in retail terms, they're the equivalent of Reliance Trends, right? And whereas something like a Sabyasachi, right now, is sitting at the equivalent of a Valentino, right? We want to play in the retail space at the level of a Zara, right? Where it's desirable, it's extremely fashionable, it's very targeted at the upper middle class, right? And has a element of uh, international beautiful style, right? The work and technique that we plan to use and are using currently is imperative with the best in class, with the Sabyasachis of the world, with the Manish Malhotras of the world. But the pricing that we have is almost 25% of their cost, right? I'll come through how we plan to get there, right? But more importantly, want to build a new age brand which is friendly to our investors, right? And we plan to to use technology as a key differentiator to enable, let's just say, multiple levels of benefits for various franchisees, including higher inventory turns, including higher critical revenue, hopefully, and several other options that will be. We'll come to that as we progress the presentation. Um, so the first thing I'd say is that there's this whole myth, right? Now, on this side of the chart, I have the average price of a typical designer lehenga, and it's just the lehenga. And on this side, I've actually put what the cost of the typical average budget of a middle class family is, and you can see there's clear dichotomy, right? So an average lehenga by even a Rimple Harpreet or a Manish Malhotra is somewhere between that 6 and 10 lakh rupees. Whereas the entire budget for a middle class family, right, for most of the events of a bride are around that 7 to 10 lakh rupees, right? For all of the medical members of the family put together, right? Uh, so the way we see it is in even B grade designers or C grade designers that you're looking at are typically pricing their products somewhere between 3 and 4 lakhs, right? So if you go to a Seema Gujral, she's between 3 and 4 lakhs. If you go to a Dolly J, she's between 3 and 5 lakhs, right? Or 3 and 6 lakhs today, right? So any of these name designers are there. We are positioning our brand in the same location with the same quality of work as all of these designers. Out of these, Manish Malhotra, Sabyasachi, Tarun Tehliani, um, and Dolly J, Anita Dongre, Sahil Kochar, they're all our neighbors, right? So where we're physically placed, they're all our neighbors, right? And we're regularly being able to succeed with getting grooms and brides who are wearing one event, they're wearing a Sabyasachi, other event, they're wearing a Talking Threads, right? So for let's just say a wedding lehenga, she's taken a Sabyasachi. For the reception, she's taken a Talking Threads, right? Or for the Sangeet, she's taken a Talking Threads. Or for grooms, we're getting more grooms than we're probably getting the highest conversion on grooms in any store in Mehroli today, right? So again, um, the point I'm trying to make over here is that as a brand, right now, we believe that there is this massive white space where people are going, in that 1 to 2 lakh rupee price points, where people are going to no name designers with no brand and prestige. Our proposition is that between 1 and 3 lakhs, we plan to create a significant brand play, significant prestige, right? So that people will feel and a competitive product which matches, let's just say 4x of what vertical any no named designer will give, right? And that is going to be an extremely compelling offering. In terms of market size, India has a lot of weddings. मतलब आप ये लेके चलिए that I'm sorry, let me stick to English. Um, we have over 10 million weddings a year, right? So with those many, and that's a conservative number, right? So you're actually looking at one of the largest markets in the world, right, in terms of wedding. And when you combine NRI traffic, right, so the cities that we're looking at, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Delhi first, right, all of them have significant NRI traffic. When you combine NRI traffic, and there are over 5 million NRIs just from US, Canada, what do you call UK alone, right? You're talking of significantly large numbers and a lower seasonality rate or cyclicity rate than would be true for, let's just say, smaller cities, right? Because their Indian weddings happen in a particular season. In the West, weddings happen in a particular season, and they kind of complement each other rather than conflict with each other. So basically, it will create a more even revenue curve through the year, right? But fundamentally, the average middle class Indian spends a minimum of around 27 to 30 lakhs per family on a wedding, right? So the groom will spend about that much and the bride will spend about that much. So every wedding, both their sides put together is about 60 lakhs. And out of that, almost 15% is dedicated to clothes. 15 to 20% is dedicated to clothes and trousseau, right? And then there are follow-up events that will happen after that for the entire first year, second year, baby will be born, other events will happen, and that creates a long-standing relationship. So we're creating a portfolio that caters not only to the wedding, but also the occasion wear components of that same young person over a period of a significant amount of time. This again just identifies the white space, right? And shows pricing of various brands, right? But fundamentally, we are looking to play in this white space between 50 lakhs and 3 lakhs, right? Where we are basically being more competitive. If we competing with segments which are sitting significantly higher above us, right? And that price point will be able to attract a segment to this market, right? Just like Manyavar did at their end, right? At 15,000 rupees when they're offering a Sherwani, or 20,000 rupees when they're offering a Sherwani set, right? They brought a segment that was not in the market or buying from local tailors or buying from local small stores into a branded vertical, into a branded place. We think that we can offer that same thing with a level of prestige and product quality which is significantly higher. There are people who want a different quality of product, right? So you're seeing the various images on this presentation, or you can happily go through our website, right? You'll be able to see a completely different level of product. So fundamentally, if I were to summarize it, there's a lack of aspirational brands in that space, right? The retail experience is considerably lagging in that 1 to 2 lakh historical budget, or 1 to 3 lakh budget, right? There are no name designers, there are no named designers. So you're basically going to small shops which have limited products, which have limited this thing. The quality of the retail experience is poor, right? Discovery of those brands is poor because you don't really know. It's not like walking into a Mehroli or walking into Jubilee Hill or walking into, let's say, Kala Ghoda, right? Where you find a ton of these together, right? Uh, so there is a significant opportunity, right? If we were to tackle this in the right way, right? So from our perspective, we want to build a tech-enabled capital light model, right? We think that if we can help our franchisees with product automation, virtual inventory, vendor extranets, right? And we've already started work on this, right? So all of these things will help, what do you call, improve the ROI on the business itself, right? As far as the founding of team members are concerned, it's Pearl. Pearl Uppal is, she's been consistently rewarded as one of the most, what do you call, as a leading women in technology and media in the country. She built her first fashion startup in 2010, right? And she sold that in 2013. She raised about 100 million. We raised about 100 million for that business and then sold it in 2013. From that, we've been investing in early stage technology companies and building this company out, right? So this company started out it was about a 10-year-old company. And for the first 5 years, 6 years, the focus was primarily medical, extremely luxury heritage, right? And that's where our roots come from, right? So we were building product that was absolutely targeted at luxury and heritage. And as we started seeing a shift with the youngest people, not so keen to invest in heritage products, we decided to move more towards the bridal space. So 2018, 2019, we started pivoting towards bridal. And by COVID happened, bridal took a hit. And then 2021, we went for it full force, right? We started seeing significant medical acceptability in the bridal space. We made major headway, right? Uh, so today, if you see, we're the lead brand at Karma. So in the Karma compound, we're the lead brand here. So we've got the main store that brings in traffic over here. We're at Azza in Altamount Road. We're with Azza in Ahmedabad. Pernia is physically proposed us for shopping shops in Hyderabad and in Vidigal, Delhi, right? And now we want to expand our own footprint, right? Because we think that we can do, fundamental reason that they're doing this and everybody else is pushing us for more physical presence is basically because we're driving conversions for them, right? We think that we can build this out better with a more intelligent structure. I'm sorry, I think I opened another. This is a picture of the store, right, in Mehroli, right? These are pictures inside the store, visuals of products, right? Let me just see. So fundamental your brand pillars, right? So again, aspirational brand, affordable brand, and a world-class experience, right? From a franchisee perspective, I think I had a slide somewhere here, right? Why franchisee? Yeah, right. So fundamentally, we've been experimenting with some technology plays, right? So basically, for every one piece that you pick up in the bridal space, right, we'll create multiple variations on it which are digital, right? So whether it is different colors, different necklines, different sleeve lengths, right? And so for one piece that you have physically, you'll have almost five other pieces, right, in that extremely high value space, which is multiple other colors and options, right? So fundamentally, what it'll do for our franchisee partners is that it'll allow us to multiply your investment. Let's just say your investment in inventory, right? Effectively multiply it by 3 to 4x or reduce the total investment while continuing to push your revenue. Uh, I don't want to get into the details of our mass customization strategy beyond, colors, size, fittings, trims, right? We offer massive customization options I'd be more than happy to discuss it, but I don't know the time format that I have today. I know I've taken 15 minutes already, and I'd rather that we do this as an interactive discussion, right? So I'm sorry, I'm poorly prepared for this, and I'm using the wrong presentation, but but please forgive me. Ask me the right questions, and I should be more than happy to answer them for you. Sorry, Samat, does that make sense? Do you want me to cover something else that I may have
Yeah,
missed?
so I guess we'll talk about the range and the option and the support also. I guess we'll just open the other points as well,
Please do,
which
please
is
do, please
there.
do. I'll
And
stop the presentation in the meanwhile,
sure.
and you can share what you need to share. So this is the physical location. So you can see we're the lead brand here. This is Varun Behel. This is Rimple and Harpreet. This side is Sabyasachi and Sulakshana Monga. Right. So this is the physical location. This is the store quality. So you can actually see the sorry. Uh, this is the store, right, in that location. Right. So it's one of the best located stores in Mehroli, right? And we hand selected by this is used to be this earlier used to be Sabyasachi store before he moved to a larger store, right? So this is the store where Sabyasachi was. This is the store where Torani was. So this is the store where we replaced Torani, right, as a more desirable brand for bringing in traffic for Karma, right? So just to let you guys know that that's the kind of traction that we're seeing and the kind of reception that we're getting from the Mrs. Miss Malvika Podar is the person who discovered Sabyasachi, discovered Vidikul Manish Malhotra, and she's the one who's patronizing us to be here in this location currently. She owns this entire space. So we are being well received by the fashion community. Um, if I were to say that, so for example, editors of Cosmo have right now we're getting significant traction with editors. We've just started getting Bollywood traction as well. Yesterday, Manushi Chillar was in for that award. She was in our garments. 3 days back it was Soha Ali Khan. So now we started getting significant Bollywood traction as well. And we think over the next year, uh, where this traction multiplies. It takes time to build a luxury brand, right? It's a slow iterative process, but we've seen great traction at this point in time, and we think that this is the right time to increase the footprint. And the two franchises that we're currently looking for, Hyderabad and for Mumbai, right, are going to be franchises which we will go out of our way to make sure they succeed, right? Because those are going to be our flagship models, right? The franchising models. So we will be extremely flexible, right, to make sure we meet any needs that you may have. Right. Over to you, Samar. I will stop the present. I will stop the share. And
Sure.
if I have any questions, if you guys have any questions, please.
Perfect. So I guess everyone, we got a proper understanding about the product, the brand, the placement that we're looking into as well. So when we were discussing initially as a franchise-owned, franchise-operated stores, what are the certain considerations or what are my responsibilities that I would need to follow when we are operating? So as Gaurav mentioned that there would be a complete support for all our franchise partners. There would be a dedicated team working with you with inventory and having the right SKU mix and everything. So what do you need to do from your side? Because when you're looking at the investment is something that's the first step of interaction and the construction of the store outlet, which is there, the inventory that we're trying to keep. So that kind of design and the support is provided by the brand. So once you invest into the business, and you start operating the outlet. So what kind of responsibility would be there is for you to run it smoothly, is something as an expectation because you are representing us in that location at the outlet that you'll be running, and you'll also be representing yourselves. So it's very important to position ourselves and also have an understanding how the whole industry works. So the proper training would be provided to you as to what the products are, how to sell the products, how to customize, or in a sense, not customize the product, but customize the solution and what the offering and what the need is. Try to understand it better and then guide them towards the right product which would be suitable for them. So those guidance is very important. So all these training is something that will be provided to you, and what we expect out of our partner is to execute all these transactions and the interaction that we'll be having with the customers. Also to adhere to the SOPs and the guidelines which are there. Very important the way that we represent, because representing a brand and an image that you're trying to create in the market as well. So we need to have that kind of right mindset is very important. We need to have the right way that we present our products at the outlet. So all these SOPs and the guidelines is something that the brand provides to you, and is something that is very important to how we position the product, how we display the products, what is important, how we store everything. So all the small aspects to the critical aspects would be covered in the guidelines, and is something that we expect our partners to be following, so as to ensure it's a smooth process for you, as well as a successful operation for you. The staff maintenance, the salaries, and everything is something, the utilities, the expenses is something that you look into from your side. Have the right compliances which are there. So what are the different permissions that are required is something that the brand will help you with. Also help with executing the local marketing activities. So the way we position and way we market is something at a central level. The brand would be helping out and doing all those events, be it the celebrity side of things, as well as different events, promotions, social media, and other activities. And we expect our partners to be also executing based on those guidelines in their respective cities and locations which are there. Store sizes are optimal for all our fit out and everything. So what kind of support you can expect, as Gaurav had mentioned? So end-to-end support will be provided to each and every partner who are there. What we look into is the setup, the design, how we design a store. So we saw the photographs of how the store looks like right now. And then something where we also focus and emphasize that, yes, we need to have that kind of image in the market, have the right structure, have the right fit out in the designs. So all these designs, guidelines, everything would be helped by the brand from our side. What would be the policies? What would be the customer-centric schemes which are there? So the price point is very competitive at the level of quality of the products that we're able to provide over here. So we've properly covered in the presentation that Gaurav had shared. So where we position ourselves as a brand and the offering that we're able to offer at the price point, which is catering to a very larger set of audience, which is there, who are looking for the premium quality which is there, and at a very competitive price point. So this is the main focus that we're looking into. So what would be the margins and the consistency on the price and setting is something that the brand supports and maintains a consistency. So the partners would also know what they can expect throughout the year and throughout different phases, because there would be certain seasons where the wedding, especially season, which is there, it picks up at that time. So how we code the billing, the accounting support, the technology support, so how we display the products and the inventory, how we are able to build and quote, and every other customization, be it inventory management or your other solution, is something that the brand supports you from the technology front as well. And it is very important to also stay ahead on the recent trends which are there. So the team at the back end would be coming up with the latest designs, latest trends which are there coming up, so that all our partners stay ahead as compared to the competition in the market as well. And we are able to provide new innovative designs wherever possible. And it would be offered to each and every partner who becomes part of our network, which is there, and on a timely basis as well. So it's available for you, and a constant R&D would be happening. Plus, there would be other central marketing activities, be it on the social media, print. So it's very important to get the right customer pull, which is there. And they've been doing it in the past and have very successful endeavors, be it also the couple of examples that Gaurav mentioned, that in those celebrity who are wearing the gowns, which are there, and other celebrities also who could be potentially coming in. So these are certain factors which drive sale, drive the visibility of the brand as well in the market, and also creates that level of trust which is there. So the back end, the quality checks which are there, all the inventories, the designs which are provided. So everything is something that the brand focuses on. We'll also not only work on having the training before the start of the operation, but also the initial handholding, which is important, because once you learn and once you start operations, it's very important to have the right structure, see how it is running day to day. Any challenges, initial mitigation is something that the brand will help you in the initial few weeks to have the right mindset, be comfortable with the whole operations, and then maybe you take over the entire process from your side as well. So that kind of initial support is something that is can be expected out of the brand and would be provided to each and every partner. And even after that, as a continuous support, the brand would be there to help you out with periodic feedback sessions where we can see how we can improve further with overall efficiency. Wherever you need help with, timely support would be provided to you. So this is something as a deep level of support is provided by the brand from your operation, your design side to your execution side. How we present it is very important, and the knowledge and the expertise that the brand brings in is would be shared with each and every partner, so that they also start off with as a very good platform for themselves and can also execute all the services and the products and be a major player in their respective market as well. So what kind of investment would be there for you? So when we're looking at markets, be it Mumbai and Hyderabad, there is a different potential also that we can see it. There could be certain prime areas that we're looking into, prime commercial estates that we're looking into, where maybe you also have a smaller size point as well. So what we're looking at is a minimum 600 square feet of a space. If there is a good potential in different market, we can go up to 1,000 square feet as well. But to start off with, 600 square feet of a space that we're looking into as a minimum carpet area. The investment that we see over here is about 65 lakh onwards. So when we say a total investment, it includes your fit out cost, which would be there, your initial inventory, which is there, and also your franchise fee and other permissions and licenses. So it's a complete package that we're able to offer. So when you compare it to other brands in the market, usually what we find is a very high inventory cost and a very high investment itself when it comes in. So what we are focusing on is to have the right kind of inventory available to each and every partner, have that kind of right mix available to each and every partner, and not be too reliant on stocking too much of an inventory, but more of utilizing technology and getting that kind of base over here available, so that it makes it easier for a partner to also start off with. And once what we expect as a sales for each and every partner, when we are able to really get that kind of threshold, we can also look at different options and different inventory requirements based on the market and the potential that we see. So it's a 65 lakh, 65 to 67 lakh investment that we can see. With the whole investment includes your setup, your licenses, the cost, the initial inventory, your franchise fee, everything included in this. And the initial franchise fee, as we were discussing, is about 7.5 lakh rupees that you can expect. So what is the margin that you get? So when we talked about consistent margins, we can expect margins up to 40% as a gross margin for our partners which are there. And the yield that we get on the 65 lakh of our investment over 5-year term, which is the term of the agreement, is about 89 to 90% of average ROI that we can expect. So when we say 90% ROI is something on a 65 lakh investment, eventually over a 5-year period, we can look at 4 to 5x of our investment that we can expect from our partners and the performance that we've seen in the past as well. So investment of 65 lakhs would lead to a payback period of about 1.5 years. In a good return, and there's the potential as well. If what we encourage and we'll support the partners to get a much higher yield as well. So on a conservative approach, within 1.5 years is something that we can expect our partners to be getting the payback. And then what we see over 5-year term on an average is the 90%, approximately 90% of the average ROI that we can see. So when we talk about the approach, it's a franchise-owned, franchise-operated, again, the model. The inventory is something that the brand provides you with. As a support mechanism, the inventory, the technology, everything would be provided to you. Just to break down further, when we talked about the investment, about 45 lakh rupees goes under your inventory. So that is the major component when we talk about your investment of 65 to 67 lakh. Approximately 45 lakh rupees is the investment on the inventory. 7.5 lakh rupees is the next big expense, which is your franchise fee. And rest of the expenses is more on your civil design, branding, technology support, and the different fixtures. Branding materials would be there provided to you. And what we also expect, because the field that we are in also requires a right opening, which is there. So grand opening support would also be provided, and what we expect our partners to be also invested in that, involved in that, and also executing that from our side. So all those guidance and everything would be provided. So major expenses that we can see in the investment is your inventory, which is about 45 lakh rupees. Then we see the franchise fee, 7.5 lakh rupees. And then the fit out rest, which is a total investment about 65 to 67 lakh rupees. So I'll hand it over to Neha to lead the Q&A round. If anybody has any questions, feel free to put it in the Q&A box and we can take up the questions as well. Over
Thank
to
you
you,
so
Neha.
much, Samar. Thank you, Mr. Gaurav. So guys, we are starting taking up the questions. I can see so many questions are there already in Q&A box. I would request you to keep writing your questions in the Q&A box so that we can answer you live here. So we have Mr. Ravi Kumar from Hyderabad and Mr. Saurabh from Mumbai. I would request Ravi to take up some questions from Q&A.
Good morning, everyone. I am Ravi Kumar from Hyderabad.
So there are some answers already being provided by Mr.
Yes.
Gaurav into the Q&A box itself, but I would request Mr. Gaurav to give the explanation over the webinar itself so that everybody, the participants who are watching you live, they can understand and they can get the answer properly. Yeah, Ravi, you can take up the question and Mr. Gaurav will be giving the answers.
See, the one question, most of them were asking, what is the difference from the brand to brand? See, firstly, this brand is almost equivalent to all sort of premium brands. The brands which are designed by Manish Malhotra and everything, it is the same, similar to that. But the best part with talking that is that it is little cheaper than the present brands and the ROI part. And even at all the metro cities like Hyderabad, Mumbai, Bangalore, these are the key locations to sell these topmost priority brands. So all the investors have all sort of possibilities to get the best of the best ROIs and with the proper selling of a premium brand. So because most of the people were asking on the comparison thing, so I picked this question. And
So
ROI part,
I would like to intervene over here, Ravi. I would request Mr. Gaurav to brief it in detail because the question I could also see how your brand is different from the other brands, other designer brands which are already running in market and they're going really good. So if you can just give us a little brief over it.
So let me, I actually answered this on the forum as well. Right. So there are four things that I'd really say. Right. One is quality to price ratio. Right. Our quality, how do I put it? Our quality to price ratio is almost anything between 2x of when you look at tier B and tier C designers to 4x of when you look at tier A designers. So let me give you an example. The same Sabyasachi and we bought to a quilted sherwani, right? We've been doing the quilted sherwani before Sabyasachi, but Sabyasachi made it popular, right? It's identical almost. The quilting is slightly different. The style of quilting, the stitching work on that is slightly different, but it's practically identical. We sell that for 45,000. He sells it for 1,90,000, right? And it's identical. He loses customers to us on a regular basis, right? Because the quality of the product is identical, right? So fundamentally, the first thing I'd say is our price to quality ratio is exceptional, right? The second thing I'd say is that the range that we offer is unlike most designers. Our range is exceptionally large. We have over 1,000 SKUs. What that allows any franchisee partner to do is select one for his particular region, right? Two, also gives him the ability to cycle things differently and keep the stock fresh. Three, gives him an opportunity to cover the thinner months, right? Where you don't have big weddings, right? With lighter products and heritage products, which other brands will not be able to offer, right? I think third, good question. I put down 4 points, right? Let me just go back to the answered questions. Right? Third, we use technology as a force multiplier. So if you see the medical work that we've already done, right, and the work we're continuing to work on, right, we're trying to create, let's say 3 to 5 options, right, for every product, for every key bridal product or every key groom product, right? So if you've had in your store have invested in one in ivory, you'll have three other colors or four other colors, two different necklines, two different things, right? So fundamentally, you have the ability to use technology as a force multiplier there, right? Second, you'll have the ability to create, visualize, and vertical drop vertical variations. If the customer wants a specific variation, right, we'll be able to support them with a digital mock-up of that very, very quickly, right? And create opportunities which will help conversions for our franchisees. So using technology, not just here, but in multiple other spaces, whether it's marketing, whether it's vertical sales, whether it's conversions, whether it's CRM, right? We have a very strong tech layer, unlike most other design companies, right? And fourth, as an endorsement of our work, right? We have been awarded at Premier Vision. Our gowns have been featured in magazines across the world, from Cosmopolitan to Playboy, right? We've been awarded to Hat Magazine, to God knows how many others, right? Uh, we work with some of the leading designers in the world. So, from um, Luna May of London to Thea Couture to Elizabeth Pidical, to Nardos Imam to Roberta Einer well, we work with some of the biggest names in the world and have got awarded for our work. So the quality of our work, and that's just the fourth point I want to say, the quality of our work is not debatable. It's been recognized on a global stage. So all we're trying to do is build for scale. We are not cutting corners. We are being aggressive on our pricing because our model is for scale. Our model is not for building one store or two stores at an extremely high price, right? So what is happening with designers is that they want to say that how we'll price a product extremely high because they don't have a business mindset, right? They're designers first and businessmen second. So they take a product, and if they think it's beautiful and they can sell it at a higher price, they continue to increase the price rather than increase the distribution. We have taken the opposite approach. So please be assured that we are not cutting corners to deliver the product that other people you see are theoretical receiving. We are actually being that aggressive on pricing and that aggressive on technique substitution, right? To make it an intelligent, attractive offering. Does that fairly answer your question?
Very well explained, Mr. Gaurav. Yeah, Ravi, you can take up another question from Q&A box now.
सबको मेल मेल करके बोल के जाइए कि देखो ऐसा की बात है, मेल और व्हाट्सएप में मैं करूँगी।
Hello.
Meanwhile, I would request Saurav to take up the questions from you.
Okay. So, Om Prakash ji ka question hai. There is a question from Rekha Sharma. What is the range of your designer clothes?
Gaurav, are you there?
I was just grabbing a coffee. Oops.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so I guess for everyone's sake, and I guess the Saurav also asked that question, and you had they've answered it over there as well. So it's very important to understand the range of the product as well. So though we emphasize on the bridal and others, so just for everyone's understanding, so when we talk about your lean season as well, so when we had mentioned that there are different options available, maybe you can brief the investors over here on the different options that are available apart from the wedding focus market as well, which will be there. How we go to that.
So we started out in heritage, right? So we are known as a brand for Parsi Gara. We're known for our chicken curry. We're known for other work as well. In addition to what do you call this thing? So when you look at our range, the way we look at it is that we have everything from everyday luxury, which we don't stock in this store particularly. We sell most of it online because there's limited space. So if we had a bigger space, we would have probably kept more SKUs here, right? We have gowns, right, which is evening wear. So we have gowns. We have, you'll see some of the judges at Miss India were wearing our gowns. Celebrities were wearing our gowns, right? So mermaid gowns and so on and so forth. Right, so we have mermaid gowns, we have princess gowns, we have all sorts of gowns. Like I said, we work with a lot of international designers on gowns, right? So we that is there. We've got jackets, we've got shararas, we've got gararas, we've got salwar kameezes, we've got drape saris, we've got traditional heritage saris, we've got kurta pajamas and bandis for men. We've got bankalas for men. And this is not all bridal, right? So the range is extremely extensive, right? I don't know. It'll be a little difficult for me to show you, but I'd be happy to do a walkthrough, right? In the store, and what you'll see is basically each rack is fundamentally different. So in the store, we actually have one rack dedicated to Western wear. We have one rack dedicated to saris, right? So that includes beaded saris, which are hand embroidered, what you call drape saris, and traditional saris, right? As a matter of fact, I have, anyway, we have one rack dedicated to shararas, ghararas, rangkats, basically lighter wear, right? We have one rack dedicated to bridal, women's lehengas primarily. Right now, we have one rack dedicated to men's grooms. We have one rack dedicated to Sorry, we have two racks dedicated to lehengas. We have one rack dedicated to men's grooms and one rack dedicated to regular sherwanis for men, right? And then we have two racks on the side which are easy wear for men, right? So whether it is kurtas, whether it is pathan suits, whether it is so there's a very wide range of products, and there are more products. This is just 250. This is basically what we have 320 SKUs in store, right? Uh, and we have over 1,000 SKUs online. Right. So we also keep rotating depending on the season, depending on this thing. So we have everything from pashmina stoles, embroidered pashmina stoles. We have belts. We have everything you could possibly want. Right. So our range is extensive. We've been recognized for various pieces by different. So what got featured in Cosmopolitan, for example, was actually our Western jackets. Right now at that mega luxury event which was hosted by the Prince of Jaipur, Princess of Jaipur, right now the editor of Hello magazine was wearing our what do you call Parsi Gara Peshwa jacket, right? A full length Peshwa jacket, right? Some of the most powerful people in fashion are endorsing different ranges of our products at different times. Right, so there's a very wide range. We are very confident of being able to support you across the range. We will make recommendations based on the space and based on the season, right? The only piece that will be relatively constant, the racks that will be bridal. And basis what is working in your market, we will try and push more of those pieces into your market, into your space. See, the good news with bridal is that a woman gets married once, hopefully, right? We all hope that it's once. Same for a guy. So every season, as new products get released, the range only continues to improve, right? So you continue to have a broader selection to pick from. So your hits don't go away, right? Your hits continue to sit on top of each other, and your collection continues to improve year on year, right? Or season on season. And therefore, you continue to become more and more, how do I put it, a more efficient sales organization over a period of time. Does that adequately answer your question, or would you like me to run you through the website or something like that?
No, that would be enough, I guess. People who want to know more and they can always come and visit the store, get a better understanding. That would be more helpful for them as well. And I guess if others also have certain questions, I guess most of the questions that people had over here and the details as well have been shared and answered quite thoroughly by Gaurav as well through the presentation and through his briefing as well. And whatever other questions that people may have, if you want to come and visit the store, which is there. So feel free to share the details. I guess Saurav, Ravi, and other team members would also be able to walk you through, get a better understanding. If you want to know more about the commercial aspects as well, we did cover it. But if you want to know more, we can always have those kind of discussions. And maybe if you want to have a proper discussion discussion and want to continue and take up the opportunity as well, we can set up a meeting and Gaurav and team can have those proper discussions with you and see the right and guide you on the right location and the feasibility. Yes,
There's just
Gaurav.
one question which is unanswered, which is someone asked who bears the cost of sales. So if we are running the sale,
Sure.
right, we will bear the cost of that sale. If there is a promotion that we are running, so we typically run promotions in various seasons, right? And if there is anything that we're running online, we will give you the same competitive prices offline, right? So please be assured of that, right? So if we are running the sale, we will very well do that. If you want to give a customer a spot discount to close a sale, that is a local call that you will need to make.
Sure,
right?
definitely.
Typically,
And that is also with your permission. So it's very
And we have to
important. So all
modify
the
the
activities that you do is with after discussion with
so
the brand and Gaurav.
typically we will in the standard operating procedure itself, depending on the value of the transaction, we recommend. So even for our own store, right, beyond a certain value, the client is we're allowed to give the client a certain number and allowed to give the client a certain number. But that's
Correct.
only if we think we needed to close the sale, right?
Correct.
So the same flexibility will be given to the franchisee.
Correct. So it would be there, and as a support mechanism as well, it's there.
Correct.
And proper guidance would also be there. When is the right time? What is the right time? And when we need to do it. So that is where it becomes very efficient for you to also run the business, where you get that kind of industry knowledge and support at the back end. Gaurav, any last closing statement for all the investors and people who would be listening to the recording as well, who would like to invest in the Talking Threads, which then become part of the franchise network?
I think the most important thing I'd like to say is that both Pearl and I come from having built reasonably large businesses and run reasonably large businesses. Right now, we are very clear that the first two partners or first four partners are going to be the foundation of our success. Right, and we are very clear that we value those people exceptionally, and we will do everything in our power to make sure they succeed, because their success is fundamental to our success. We can't succeed without our franchisee partners succeeding, right? So we have tried our best to create an extremely attractive set of vertical options, right, for the partner and for the vertical end customer. Right, we will continue to improve that in partnership with our franchisee partners. They will be our eyes and ears on the ground for us to continue to augment and improve our offerings, right, and improve their success over a period of time. We are building the model so that, basically you break even at less than 10 lakhs a month, right? We're targeting around that number, maybe less, right? And if you can do that, that is not a big number to target in the larger cities for sure, right?
Right.
So our that's what I would really say, right? So we are very, very clear that we're going to make our partners succeed, and the brand will bend over backwards because you are going to be our role models to show to everybody else.
Correct. Thank you so much for that, Gaurav. Everybody who wants to connect, as I said, can reach out to our hotline number 9717683838, or you can write to us at feedback@franchiseindia.in. The team would be happy to connect with you and brief you more about the details, any question that you may have, or any meetings that you would like to have with Gaurav, and also the visit that you may also plan for the store, which is there. So thank you so much. Today, I'll hand it over to Neha for a closing.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Gaurav. Thanks all the panelists for coming in and sharing the brand details in so brief for all our participants. Guys, I'm sure that brand details which we have shared with you are going to help you and benefit you in understanding of brand. But in case you want to reach out, or if you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to us on our hotline number and our email ID, which is already being shared with you in our chat window. Tomorrow again, we are coming up with a new business opportunity with Alice and Gillettoland. I have shared the registration link into the chat window. They're inviting franchisee partners. They're a premium gelato and desserts chain established by a family in fast food and restaurant business since 1937. This is a Mumbai